Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name is Pete and this is a 5-minute Bags of Action review of Stuber from 2019. Now, I heard a little bit about this film before, but not much at all. When it was first announced, I was quite excited at the idea of Dave Bautista in an action comedy role. But then I realised Stuber was a play on Uber, the taxi service, and I feared that this was maybe going to be a 90-minute commercial, so I avoided seeing it on the big screen. The very short IMDb description didn't help matters. A detective recruits his Uber driver into an unexpected night of adventure. The one benefit was I went into this film completely cold. Apart from that one line and knowing Dave Bautista was in it, I knew very little about this movie. It was directed by Michael Dowse, who also directed Goon, the recent Netflix film Coffee and Kareem, and also an episode of Preacher. And it's written by Tripper Clancy, who's written Four Against the Bank and Hot Dog, and I haven't seen either of those. Dave Bautista stars, as I say, alongside Kumail Nanjiani. He plays Stu of the title, Stu the Uber driver, and he's been in Fist Fight, Central Intelligence, and he's soon to be seen in Marvel's The Eternals. The cast is rounded out with some really good quality names: Mira Sorvino, Betty Gilpin, who you might know from Glow, Iko Uwais from The Raid, Triple Threat and Wu Assassins, and Karen Gillan, who reunites with her Guardians of the Galaxy co-star. So the fact I only went in knowing the two leads meant I was quite surprised when these other actors I recognised started to turn up, and that was a nice surprise. So the other thing that was great, the opening scenes of this film are brilliant. It feels like John Wick, The Raid, Extraction, that approach of constant and relentless action. They use Uwais versus Bautista to good effect to set the whole premise up. And you forget it's a comedy because the stakes feel high, the fights feel fluid, the action is absolutely breathtaking in those opening scenes, and the emotions feel real. At this stage, I was very excited to see where this film was going to be like. And then I suddenly remembered, well, hang on, this is an action comedy, so at some point the tone is going to have to shift. And when it does do that, with the introduction of Stu, things do change. And as you'd expect, these two worlds are about to be thrown together. The kind of high action drama of the cop and the kind of slightly low-key life of slightly neurotic Stu. And it's quite quick. They mash the two things together pretty quickly, and there are some interesting results. The Uber aspect actually helped with the comedy rather than hindered it, and there are some aspects of the app and how you use it that come into play really neatly. One thing I did struggle with, though, was the idea that a cop would try to work when he wasn't really able to due to laser eye surgery, and that was so unbelievable it almost did irreparable damage to the movie, as it made me so hard to suspend my disbelief. The same cop who was having this amazing fight with Iko Uwais and chasing him everywhere, 10 minutes later is driving a car when he can't see anything, and that juxtaposition just felt really off to me. As an action comedy, it hits many of the tropes you'd expect, but both the leads are very watchable, and the mix of full-on action and laugh-out-loud comedy made me think of old movies from back in the day. When there is action, it is superb, and having checked, I wasn't surprised to see that the second unit director has a background in stunts. They could have made the fights much softer, as some comedy films do, but I'm pleased this felt as visceral as the rest of the recent wave of films that have breathed new life into the action genre. Stuber is one of those movies that does all the things it's supposed to do, but it never quite gels. I didn't get the buddy cop chemistry that so many of these kind of films thrive on, and although when the jokes land, they land hard, sometimes they don't land at all. I'm confident Bautista can balance action and comedy roles like The Rock does or Arnie did, but something about this felt a little bit too by the numbers to really work and to really stand out. It almost felt like a scene from Deadpool had been stretched over an hour and a half. Now, all that said, I did enjoy this movie and the action scenes in particular, and I struggled a bit with the score in this one because 2 bags feels really harsh. There is a lot to like about Stuber, but with the excellent set pieces, they are just about enough for me to give Stuber 3 bags of action out of 5. Have you seen Stuber? Do you agree with my assessment of it? Feel free to comment below or get in touch with us via email, Facebook, or on Twitter. We have new episodes coming out weekly alongside our full-length podcast with my co-hosts and occasionally some special guests. And don't forget to give us a like and to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell for notifications.